Greetings and thank you for joining the weekly meditation of Calgary Mindfulness, where every Sunday morning we meditate for 15 minutes on a different topic, often suggested by our practicing community. If you would like to join these meditations live, or if you would like to attend in-person meditations around the Calgary area during the summer months, please email calgarymindfulness@gmail.com. I hope you enjoy this practice and wishing you a wonderful week. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for joining me for our Sunday meditation. Today's topic will be how we can begin exploring and helping ourselves if we are struggling with depression in meditation. Our anchors will be mindfulness of thoughts and also a visualization. Let's begin with a deep breath. And as we inhale, feeling the small lift of a smile, opening our faces, lifting the corners of our mouth and upward and upward. And again, inhaling and exhaling slowly. This time, let's inhale for a count of 2 and hold our breath for 4 and exhale for 8. Let's try that again. Inhale for 1, hold for 2, and exhale for 8. As we continue to breathe, lengthening out the exhalation and shortening the inhalation time, let's begin a mindful body scan. Beginning with your feet, sending our awareness into our toes, up through the ankles, up the calves and knees. Stop to give your knees a little rub. And sending our awareness further up our legs and thighs. Giving extra attention and awareness to any body parts that we may have some aches and pains in, maybe the back or the hips. And just sitting with the hips for a little bit before we get to the belly. Visualize circling your abdomen and hips with a white light spiraling around the body. And just draw the circle with your mind's eye, circling the hips, circling the lower back, circling the belly, noticing as the belly relaxes for exhalation and lifts for inhalation. And just stop and give the belly a little rub. Stop and rub it with both hands, actually. Hello, belly. Young and older people tend to be very critical of this very important part of the body that has a lot of neurons in it. So we want to be really tender contemplating our abdomens. This is the seat of a lot of unconscious stress. And of course, there's a lot of unease that can occur if we have constant tension in the abdomen. All sorts of problems can arise. So in our short practice this morning, we're just going to be very tender with this special part of our bodies. allowing breath and white light to flow through, to lift and release, encouraging the flow of anything that might be stuck in there, ranging from ancient trauma to day-to-day tension. As we inhale and exhale, we intend to restore flow to this part of our bodies. And just enjoying what that feels like, the big lift of a deep breath. Hold it for a moment and exhale for longer, whatever that count is for you. I have suggested a ratio of 1, 2, and 4, or 1, 2, and 8 for inhale, hold, and exhale, but do whatever your lungs and ability allow. And continuing this journey up our bodies, sending our spiral of white light around the upper back and shoulders, lifting the shoulders and releasing them down. Lifting and releasing, reminding ourselves that in this physical world, the only way we know one thing is by its opposite: tension, relaxation. And this knowledge can help us explore our own experiences with more compassion and agency. Instead of viewing things that don't go our way as catastrophic, we can see them as moments of tension. Where can we explore for relaxation? And where does that discipline and awareness begin? It's in mindfulness of our own bodies. How do I feel right now? Am I tense? We often don't know. We're not aware. We're just going through the motions, getting from A to B. It's nothing to feel bad about. It's just because we don't practice. And when we practice, we get better. And sending our awareness up around the neck and face and ears, relaxing the face, coming back to where we started. The small lift of the smile, stretching up our faces, up towards the back of the head, lifting the eyes, lifting the spirits, and visualizing the white swirling light all around our heads. Restoring flow to our stuck brains. We ruminate. We obsess. Again, inhaling deeply, holding for a moment, and an audible exhalation. And do that again. Reminding ourselves that it is normal for us to ruminate and obsess, because that's how our brains are wired, to keep us physically safe. So we can approach this compassionately and not critically. I have to fix myself. We can approach with understanding and gentleness. We may be ruminating about things we're not conscious of. We may not know we are. We may not be aware of our thoughts, which is pretty typical. And giving thanks for this ability we have to try and keep ourselves safe by focusing on what's unpleasant and what's dangerous, but also recognizing it as a moment of tension where we can mindfully apply release, and how needed that is at a time when people are pretty stressed out. Having completed our body scan, let's return to our theme for today, which is how we can approach depression from a mindfulness meditator standpoint. And as you guessed, that is going to begin with awareness of the body and thoughts. When we are stuck in depression or feeling badly about ourselves, we have a non-stop stream of negative thinking. And we are not aware of it often. If we feel pretty badly, we're not aware of it. We've lost the ability to help ourselves. So our goal as meditators is, how do we become aware so that we can pull ourselves back from that cliff before we get there? As we know, many of the toxic thoughts that we ruminate upon or feel when we're feeling depressed, they're just simply untrue. The amount of unworthiness, the sense of the world would be a better place without me, there's no hope for my future, I have no agency to make any changes that are meaningful to me. So all of those thoughts, an immense fearfulness about the future and our own ability to navigate it, none of those things are true. Yes, there is risk. Yes, there is tension, contrast, some struggle to navigate. And we want to build the trust and resilience to know that we can do it, that if we have enough experience with contrast or tension, we know we can solve the next problem too, even if it's a big one. So that is pretty, for adults who've been around the block a few times, we have more trust in our ability to navigate problems. For youth, that's a different story. And that's where I see it a lot in my community, is pretty catastrophic thinking in young people and very little ability to be aware of it, let alone navigate it. It's quite upsetting for me personally. So as adults, whether we're struggling with depression personally, as I have in the past, it does run in my family. I think I've mentioned on this meditation before, I have a family history of pretty serious depression, which led me to meditative practice. We as adults, we have a responsibility to regulate ourselves and to set an example for young people in our circles and all people in our circles. So as we sit and practice for a few more moments, and this is an assignment we'll carry with us through the week, because our 15-minute practice isn't enough time for this. We want to be able to do this in passive practice, like if you're in bed or just sitting, and we want to do it in active practice too. Give our minds something to do that's pretty important when we're washing the dishes or driving to work or shopping. Looking for places within our thoughts where we feel unworthy or fearful. So when we are struggling with depression, this will be an overwhelming amount of fear and obstacle. And for most people without a clinical depression, there's going to be lots of negative self-talk in there. And we just want to give ourselves space to pull that up, to allow it to surface and to sit with it from this position of power and agency. Continuing to inhale and exhale. And once we've identified one thought, often it opens a floodgate for all of the related thoughts, like, I'm a loser. I haven't accomplished anything useful. I don't have enough money to retire. The world is so hard. I'll never get a job. I'll never be able to raise a family. Those catastrophic thoughts are all connected. And once we allow ourselves to feel one, the rest might come running. So allowing them to pass on. Reminding ourselves that these are not true. Reminding ourselves that we want to believe and practice what's true. We don't want to live in a negative fantasy world. That's like ridiculous, right? Once we approach it from this perspective, we want to be authentic and real and true. And what's true is that we've struggled before and we prevailed and we can do it again. And even for young people, this is true. They learn to walk, they learn to talk, they learn to potty train, they learn to go to school. They've done a lot. They've overcome a lot. They've learned a lot. And it's such a miracle. And in the learning, in the pushing for something, we grow tremendously. And that's how we grow as humans. We will be exploring this topic for the next few weeks, I think, in deeper modes. Today, I wanted to approach sitting with and identifying our negative and fearful thoughts. What flavor of fear is it? It's all related to fear. I encourage you to take up this practice over the week, and I love hearing from everyone. So please send me the results of your practice, like what came up, because honestly, when we share our thoughts with others, our dark thoughts, they seem so silly. They seem so sad and negative. And we would never put up with that negative self-talk from a loved one or a friend, but we tolerate it from ourselves. So better out than in. That's what Shrek said in Shrek 1 about his burps, and I feel it's the same approach to our scary and negative thoughts. Better out than in. When they are out in the world, either in journal, in talking to ourselves, in sharing with our friends, then they are not as scary. We do have some ability to be more distant from them by that point. So I encourage you to use whatever medium is good for you, like thinking, writing, talking, and then connecting with me. Also, I love that. And we will be back to this topic next week. Thank you so much for meeting with me today. Have a great week.